Welcome to the OLV Day Reflection for Wednesday, July 14th. Today, the Universal Church celebrates the feast day of St. Kateri Tekakwitha. For anyone who might be unfamiliar with St. Kateri, she was a Native American who was born in 1656, and her family lived around what is now western New York State. Unfortunately, when she was a child, her entire family contracted smallpox, and her parents and younger brother died after battling this illness. St. Kateri survived, but her survival had lingering effects. Her face was full of scars, and she also had to live with the additional trauma of losing her family and then also having to leave her native village to live with her extended family after the death of her parents. Despite this reality, as St. Kateri grew, her faith in the Catholic Church deepened, to the point where, in her early teenage years, she felt a call from Jesus Christ to devote her life to him. And St. Kateri did not take the formal religious vows as others have throughout the history of the Catholic Church, mostly because her interaction with the Church was simply with missionaries. She would be what we would now call a consecrated virgin, because of her commitment in following Jesus Christ, even at such a young age. And this decision to be faithful and to follow Jesus Christ unreservedly caused her to face hostility from her tribe, because it was against their tradition and also against some of their traditional beliefs. For example, since she was a woman, St. Kateri was expected to get married. But as I mentioned, she felt called to devote her life to Jesus Christ as a consecrated virgin. So she had to constantly stand up against cultural pressures, but her deep faith allowed her to do that. And as a result, she was an inspiration to many people, but also we have to know she infuriated many people. She would get sick again, though, and she would eventually die at the age of 24. But the witness of her faith was such that people started to venerate her immediately because of her faithfulness and devotion. But also there was a miracle. Shortly after her death, St. Kateri's face became radiant and beautiful, and the scars on her face disappeared. And it was said the beauty on the outside finally matched the beauty that she had in her soul. And she would later be called the Lily of the Mohawks, because she was truly so beautiful and was the one that brought Christ's loving presence to her people in a way the missionaries could not. And furthermore, St. Kateri became the first canonized Native American saint. As I meditate upon her life, it would be hard for anyone to lose their family and then bear the scars of the illness that took one's family. And then on top of that, to be treated poorly because of a personal desire to serve the Lord. But St. Kateri's faith was a source of strength and peace in her life, and she never turned back. And again, she has been the inspiration of thousands and thousands of people over the years because she decided to follow Christ unreservedly. For today's feast day in honor of St. Kateri, the Catholic Church chose the 10th chapter of St. Luke's Gospel, and it reads, "As they continued their journey, Jesus entered a village where a woman whose name was Martha welcomed him. She had a sister named Mary who sat beside the Lord at his feet listening to him speak. Martha, burdened with much serving, came to him and said, 'Lord, do you not care that my sister has left me by myself to do the serving? Tell her to help me.' The Lord said to her in reply, 'Martha, Martha, you are anxious and worried about many things. There is need of only one thing. Mary has chosen the better part, and it will not be taken from her.'" The example of Mary in today's gospel passage is one that fits St. Kateri perfectly. The Lily of the Mohawks knew what was most important in her life, And like Mary, she did not care what other people were saying about her choice. Christ supported Mary, but Christ also gave St. Kateri the necessary graces to live out her vocation. So in the end, we have a model that we need to live out in our own lives. We need to follow Christ, no matter the cost. And if we remain close to him, he will provide for us so that we can be his witnesses in this world. St. Kateri Tekakwitha and Our Lady of Victory, pray for us.